Hi, I'm Hazel. It's Saturday today, and it is time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, but we're going to do a pretty short one this week and next week. I am moving. My life is a teeny little bit of a hurricane, so we're just going to kind of hit the big headlines and hopefully, fingers crossed, by September, back to business as usual. Two things that I saw in the news that I wanted to talk about. First of all, Wowhead is covering that in Season 3, completing a Deathless Hardmode full Tazavesh clear on your first attempt of the week will gain you a piece of guaranteed Mythic Track gear. Any player in the group dying will axe it for the entire group, not just for that run, but for the entire week. This is based on PTR, so it could be different when it goes live next week, but I think it's honestly kind of fine as it is, as long as you kind of adjust your expectations based on the kind of player that you are and the kind of groups that you're in. And all I mean by that, in the most me-included way possible, is that hard mode Tazavesh is going to be hard, and deathless runs were like a really difficult thing to do, even once for the mount last time Tazavesh was around. Doing one every single week on your first pull doesn't seem like something that's realistic for anybody except for like the most hardcore cutting edge players. I don't see your average guilds or groups kind of cranking these out every week to get guaranteed myth gear early on. Seems like more of a recipe for frustration than anything else. However, I do think it's going to make it a little bit more interesting for like, I don't know, Race to World First players that are gearing up, assuming that this is a reasonable thing for them to do. You know, maybe it'll kind of like spice up all of the split raids that they usually run. It certainly makes the stakes very high for anybody that's watching one of these runs like on Twitch or something. I'm looking at this one as less of a thing for me to try to do and more of like a cool thing to watch on TV. Other news this week, it seems that the pre-order bonuses for Midnight were kind of leaked onto a couple of US clients. So Blizzard has not officially posted about this. I would expect them to tell us more during Gamescom when they kind of like properly announce Midnight. But there are screenshots floating around from NA clients that are kind of laying out the different bonuses that come from pre-ordering the next expansion. Big thing being that you get early access to housing if you pre-order any of the three, you know, like versions of the expansion, even like the basic, the medium, or the super expensive. You would get early access to housing with any of them. And then as you go up and you give them more of your money, they will give you more of their trader's tender. Once again, just like we had in The War Within, the epic version, the most expensive one, that's like 90 USD or regional equivalent, once again has 3-day early expansion access as well. But at least the housing early access seems to be not tied to a specific version, but just tied to pre-ordering. It all sounds pretty par for the course. I don't think any of this is surprising. I'm kind of expecting them to come out and announce these. And I'm curious mainly to see how early the early housing access is. Like, you know, if you are going into housing and you know you're going to have a guild neighborhood and you have like a certain kind of plot in mind, are you going to miss out and everybody's going to claim all the plots that you want while you are waiting 3 days or whatever it turns out to be because you chose not to pre-order? I don't know if that's going to be a huge situation. You would think that anybody that's that invested is probably going to buy the expansion anyways, so pre-ordering wouldn't be as big of a jump for them. Who knows? We'll most likely find out at Gamescom. I am mainly hungering for more dates. I want to know, housing looks really good, and I just want to know when I get to play with it. Other things going on, we've got the raid release this upcoming Tuesday with the season, and raid guides are a-coming. At least one of them is already out. Keep an eye on my YouTube channel for more boss fight guides to help you fight the bosses. And then in my personal life, I am moving, so I'm probably going to miss a couple of streams and videos here and there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about next week's news. It may be even more scuffed than this one. But I am excited to get caught up properly when we are all settled into the new Hazelnutty Games HQ. Should be, hopefully, all set up by September. We'll see. You know, fingers crossed. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.